In this video, we're going to talk about the very dramatic steps that Miami Beach is taking to put an end to spring break this year. No matter where you are in the world, you may have seen the craziness that is spring break in Miami Beach.
SWAT truck has just arrived. This appears to be Coral Gables truck.
All over the media, social media. Hell, you may have even seen it on my channel because I've covered it for the past 3 or so years.
14 minutes left until the midnight curfew. Cops are going up and down with the ambassadors.
I've had my fair share of stampedes. I've seen the aftermath of fatal shootings on Ocean Drive during spring break. So now that you've got the backstory on how spring break can be in Miami Beach, let's talk about what the city is doing to try to put an end to it this year. So one of the things they are being strict on is going to be parking garages, such as this one. Let me zoom in on you guys so you can see the normal daily rate, which is just $2 an hour, $15 flat rate during events, and the maximum daily rate of $20. Now the old idea was going to be just flat rate $100 every or most garage in South Beach. But at last minute, they changed their minds. And when I say they, by the way, I mean the city commissioners, and said that they were just going to not open the garages. So this one, for example, which is attached to Lincoln Road just behind, where all the pedestrian-friendly restaurants, shops are, will be closed. Actually, Garage 1, Garage 2, Garage 3, Garage 4, Garage 5, Garage 7, Garage 9, Garage 10, and Garage 12 will not open during the high-impact weekends, which have been identified as March 7th through 10th and 14th through 17th. During every other weekend in March, there will be a flat rate of $30 at these garages. A link to the city website for specifics will be in the description. Which brings me to my next point, and that's that private garages and private surface lots are going to be able to operate. So you can imagine what their normal rate is every other spring break, which is usually like $80 or $100 for just 4 hours, and it kind of just repeats every 4 hours. Now they're going to be able to price it however much they want because they know that there's no other option for people. So the reason why they're shutting down garages and surface lots in South Beach is because previous years when there's a shooting or a fight, any kind of arrest in South Beach during spring break, they've determined that the people who were causing the trouble were not from out of state, but from here in South Florida within driving distance. So the idea is if you cut out all the parking options and only leave private lots, which will have astronomical rates, then maybe people will not show up to cause trouble. I don't know. There's still Uber, Lyft, which are probably going to be surging their prices. But there's also public transit. So if you really wanted to cause trouble, you're just a bus ride away. And that's not me condoning any of that. I'm just saying there's going to be a lot of loopholes, and I'll mention some as I go through the list of rules for spring break. I should mention that there is going to be a garage that will remain open in Mid-Beach, the 42nd Street garage. I think that's the farthest north Miami Beach's public garages go. That's in a very quiet neighborhood. In fact, 41st Street, which is the street just south of it, is full of businesses, medical offices, restaurants, and it's pretty busy during work hours. Employees park in the garage, but after hours, it's pretty dead. And I know that because when I used to live in Mid-Beach, I would park there overnight. They have the best rates, $8 a day. You lose your ticket, it's only $8. It's $1 an hour otherwise. So 42nd Street Garage is going to have a flat rate of $100. They are going to be open, but they will have a flat rate of $100. And I think they're closing at 6 p.m. either way. So by the way, all the restrictions I'm including about garages not opening and $100 flat rate at the 42nd Street Garage does not apply to city residents and employees. So suppose you still come with your car and you find out the garages are closed and you decide you're gonna go a little bit west of the entertainment district, you're gonna get into residential neighborhoods and you're gonna risk it and you're gonna park where it's just residents only. The towing rate during spring break in March will be $516 plus a $30 administrative fee. So $546 if you happen to park somewhere you're not allowed to. So that's another way that, by the way, that's double the normal rate. That's another tactic they're using to deter people from coming here while the garages are closed. So find yourself parking somewhere you're not supposed to, you're gonna pay $546 to get your car back. Suppose you're coming to the 5th Street garage, the 5th and Alton one, which has all the shops, and you actually wanna do some shopping during the busiest weekends in spring break. Well, you're gonna be inconvenienced if you come after 6 p.m. because they're gonna have license plate readers on both causeways, the MacArthur Causeway to our south, which connects with the 5th Street corridor, and Julia Tuttle Causeway in Mid-Beach, which connects with the 41st Street corridor. So that means they're going to reduce the lanes so they can scan every car's license plate. This is something they've done in previous years. This isn't new to this year, but it's coming back once again for this spring break. They're going to scan license plates that come by, and they need to reduce the lanes so they can accurately scan them and look for warrants, stolen vehicles, things like that, and prevent those people from getting into the city and stopping them right there at the causeway. So once you're done with the license plate readers, you will stumble upon a DUI checkpoint. So you can imagine the traffic jam that's going to be in that area. One thing that will be suspended, and this is going to hurt some businesses that are really popular in South Beach, those motorized scooters, mopeds, slingshots that you see people renting and leasing on South Beach, those won't be allowed during the peak periods. So those businesses will be prohibited by law from operating during those 2 busy weekends in March. One of the rules the city is going to implement is barricading each side of Ocean Drive so people can't interact with the cars and having designated crosswalks, basically no jaywalking. So during spring break, traffic will be limited to entering Ocean Drive from this street, 13th Street, and they will have no other way to exit from the side streets until they get all the way down to 5th Street. Normally you can go into like 12th, 11th, 10th, but it would just be one way in, one way out. This is probably what it's going to look like when they're closed. They'll have a garage full sign. It is currently $20 flat rate, which isn't crazy. There is a wine and food festival just across the street, but cars are being turned away. So just picture this during spring break at every single garage. And now going down the list, no sidewalk seating from restaurants on Ocean Drive, which is a popular thing, especially during the pandemic, but they're still doing a little bit of it now. It used to take over the street. Now it's just limited to the sidewalk. They're going to have security checkpoints on beach entrances at 5th, 10th, and 12th Streets. When I mentioned loopholes earlier, this is another one of them. So they're going to have these security checks at these 3 beach entrances off of Ocean Drive. What they did last year, and I don't know if they'll do it this year, they'll have Goodwill ambassadors. These are people who are hired by the city, I think they're volunteers, to help the police officers, because it requires a lot of resources to deal with spring break crowds. So they have these Goodwill ambassadors that stand at these entrances to the beach and make sure that nobody's bringing in things they're not allowed to bring, like glass or loudspeakers. And I think that's what they're going to do this year. Now the loophole that I'm sure anyone can figure out is they are limiting those 3 entrances, but what's going to stop somebody from going to all the other entrances? Hell, you can go to 15th Street, you can go to the Lincoln Road entrance by 17th Street, you can even go down to South Point Park, get on the beach, and walk your way up to where the checkpoints were, and you'll be on the other side of it. So those are just things that I feel like are easy to get around. Oh, and those beach entrances, those 3 entrances will close at 6 p.m. Nobody can get onto the beach after 6 p.m. If you're already on the beach, you can stay on the beach. And like I said, with those loopholes, you can just really go to any other entrance. I don't know, it's confusing. So the main theme that city officials want everyone to know about is that it will be very inconvenient and annoying to come to Miami Beach during the month of March. By the way, I didn't mention curfews. That is still on the table. If they declare a state of emergency for whatever reason, let's say the first night goes really bad, they declare one, they can implement a curfew.
The city of Miami Beach is currently under a state of emergency. There's a curfew in effect from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Something they've done in the past, and I don't know if they'll do it, it's very dramatic and it kind of didn't work out. It's closing the causeways and only allowing residents, employees, or anyone with a hotel or dinner reservation into Miami Beach. I say it kind of didn't work out because I was at one of those checkpoints filming. I think the video is on my channel still. And at one point they were just letting any car go in. But it's an option and maybe it'll be strictly enforced this time. So yeah, parking garage is closed. Towing fines, $546. Flat rate, $100 at the 42nd Street City Garage. Public surface lots closed. There are exceptions if you're a resident or an employee here in the city. Private garages will be able to operate, although from now to then, I don't know if commissioners will have the power to force them to not open or implement a high rate. I don't know. Either way, if they are open, private garages typically outside of March charge a lot of money on weekends. So I wouldn't find it surprising if they do in the month of March. There's going to be road closures, license plate reader checkpoints, DUI checkpoints, and a whole lot of traffic and inconvenience. So there you have it. I will be here, by the way. If you want to subscribe and hit the bell button, I will be here in South Beach to see if any of this worked and to see how it is working in real time. I may even have some live streams during the event. That said, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, hit the bell button, and I will catch you guys in the next video.